He had a really sore wrist yesterday. He kind of played through it. He came in after the game the day before yesterday and said his wrist was pretty sore. He decided like I said, play through it yesterday, even though it was pretty sore and it affected his swing. So it probably didn't help that he played yesterday because it was pretty sore today. So I'm just going to give him today, and hopefully he'll be fully go tomorrow. We'll see how it feels tomorrow, but today it's no go for him.
No X-rays, no nothing.
I think we're just going to evaluate him when he gets here and see exactly if we need to do that. If not, maybe it's just some tendonitis or something that he can, get some treatment on and feel better tomorrow.
So after today, you'll be 20% of the way through the season, which seems insane.
I know.
We talked before the season started about how you're going to have to approach things differently, the leash length that you were going to have, the way you're going to have to think outside the box. At what point, do you start? I mean, obviously you've already started doing some things differently. How crazy are the things you're considering relative to a normal season at this point?
I don't know if they're crazy. We definitely try to. We're definitely trying to think of different ways that we can, obviously win games. Right now, I think we got to get. I hate to say go back to basics, but we just got to do the things that we're good at. Like we can't make little mistakes. We got to clean up a lot of these little things. But I think as a group, like we were just talking a minute ago, the team is still together. They still believe that we're gonna make a go of this thing. Obviously 3-8 is not where we wanted to be, but this is where we have to get down to business and fight. You know what I mean? And I keep saying that word, but these guys want to win. They want to win, and we know we were just a few things away from winning 3 games in Oakland. We lost all 3 because we made some mistakes. So we need to focus on maybe some fundamentals or some small things that we did wrong. But as a group, we got to get our swagger back, man. We got to go out there and have some fun competing. I think there was a lot of stress and maybe the urgency. Like I said, was kind of going into the panic stage. Is like 20%. We still have 80% of our season left. I know 20% of our season may be gone, but we still have 80% left. So if we run off a good run in a week, we're right back in this thing. And with 8 teams making the playoffs in the American League, I don't know what the record's going to be on the 8th seed, but we got to keep fighting. We still got a chance, and with COVID and with everything that's going on, getting through this is going to be our biggest hurdle. And if we can get through it, I think on the other end we're going to be fine.
More for me, as far as conversations we hear about, sometimes meetings, team meetings, all that kind of stuff. Have there been any particular conversations or any guys who have taken a lead as far as maybe trying to have that pivotal moment to get things going in the right direction?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of conversations. We've had so many team meetings in the beginning. Obviously I reached out to a lot of our leadership, pretty much everybody yesterday, and just told them, we got to keep going. And certain guys I gave different messages to, but the leadership in our clubhouse I trust. It's strong. These guys believe in each other. They believe in this team. So, yeah, like I said, we're not where we want to be, but hey, we got to take this head on. We can't avoid this. We gotta stick together and fight through it. And if we do, we scratch and claw. We get a few wins. Then we can start to get our swagger back and go out there with the intent like we can beat anybody.
Thank you, Woody. That's it for me.
Okay, other questions, please. Evan.
So when did you reach out? Did you reach out to your veterans yesterday after the game?
Yeah, I mean, I probably do that all the time. I mean, it's not something that's new. But yesterday specifically, I know it's a pivotal moment, for our ball club right now. We're coming back home. We could either go one way or the other, in my opinion. And I don't see us going the wrong way. I don't. I mean, it doesn't guarantee we're going to win games. It just means that we're not going to quit. And that's all I ask. If we lose the next 3 games because we fought and we just get unlucky, we haven't had a whole lot of breaks go our way, but we have to earn our breaks. And sometimes, typically in life and in baseball in general, like when it's hard, you don't tend to get the breaks. When things are going well is when you typically get the breaks. And that's just the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. And that's where you have to just keep fighting. I've been through this game a long time as a player, as a coach, and obviously as a manager. And this is where you have to be your best as far as character, attitude, energy. This is where you make an impact. And we have quality leadership that believes the same thing in that clubhouse. So I trust that we're going to keep fighting, and I know we're going to turn things around, and hopefully it results in some wins sooner than later.
Just for detail purpose, when you say specifically, was this via text? Was it a conversation you guys had on the plane coming back? Or how did that kind of?
We're not allowed to get out of our seats, so I could. A lot of these, unfortunately, are having to go through sometimes text or maybe a phone call. But obviously, when I see guys today, and I saw a lot of guys yesterday after the game, just kind of confirmed with them like, hey, we got to keep going, and they understand that. Like, guys understand. They're frustrated. They want to be better. We don't want to be 3-8, but it is what it is, and we can't change that today. All we can do is control the way we play going forward, and that's what we're going to do.
I mean, you study makeup. You study like where these guys are at. You stress, being calm in the moment. What do you think theoretically led to these guys coming out of the gate with stress and anxiety?
I don't think the stress and anxiety were there in the beginning. I think we just didn't win, and then that kind of created it. I think the environment created it, just because they were, we had a lot of young guys. When you do have a lot of young guys on your, position player roster, and then your bullpen that, you're relying on to take on big roles, there's going to be some psychological, issues if they don't get off to good starts. And, as a team, we kind of all did that. We didn't hit it all, so everybody took it upon themselves to be like, this is my fault. The world's falling apart. It's not that way. And unfortunately, it's like sometimes it takes younger guys a little bit of time to get their feet under them. You look at what Kiner's done the last couple games. He finally relaxed, and I had conversations with him about this. Like, you've earned this. Like, take this. Don't hang on to this job. Like, earn it. Keep earning it every day. And he has. And he's taken that advice and run with it. Solak, same thing. Like, these guys we're relying on to have quality at bats. And they just hit a little roadblock in the beginning. That's all. We had injuries in the bullpen. We had to rely on certain guys in the bullpen that maybe we didn't expect to take on those roles. So it's almost unfair to ask, those tough innings. But look at what Jonathan's done. I mean, he's been our stabilizing force down there. He's kept us in a lot of games and gave us a chance to win a lot of games. So it's cool to see that. But also, like I said, like, we need to, we're getting Montero back. We're getting obviously a little more solidified down there in the bullpen, so it should help us a lot.
Next question, please. Go ahead, TR.
Is Gallo's injury related to the problem he had at the end of in the final 2 months of last season?
No, it's a completely separate. It's the same hand, but last year the hamate bone that he had surgery on, it's not. It's just, I think it's more like just tendonitis in the wrist area. Totally different from what he had last year.
Okay, thanks.
Other questions? What else for Woody? Jeff, you have your hand up, or are you signaling for a turn?
Good one, John.
I'm not on a bike.
Is that right?
Odor, DH.
Yeah.
What was there? Is he good enough to play the field?
Yeah, he's good enough to play the field. The thing for us, he won't be DHing tomorrow, obviously, if he's healthy. The first game back, especially when I feel like he's going to be fine, but if for some reason he has to come out of the game, and I wanted to have Tejeda in the lineup as well, I would either have to not have Tejeda in the lineup, or I'd have to DH Tejeda, and that's our versatility. So I told Rugi, I said, listen, just for this game, I'm going to have to DH you, just to make sure you're fine. If he gets through the game, obviously he's playing second base tomorrow. But it allowed me to keep both those guys in the lineup without having the fear of, if Rugi had to come out of the game playing second, we'd be in a little bit of trouble, because Tejeda I wanted actually in the lineup.
What's next?
Jeff's still going.
Jeff, you can speak up.
He was better Wednesday. So what did he do yesterday to produce you guys
What's that? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
What did he do yesterday to convince you that he's good?
He's still got to swing 100% today, so it's not a 100% official that he's playing today. He felt pretty good 2 days ago. He swung pretty hard. I'd say probably 80, 90%. Then he had a full day off yesterday, basically. Got a bunch of treatment, so he should be fine. He came in today. He woke up today, texted me and said he feels 100%, feels good. So I don't see there being any issues. He should be good to go. But if there is, then we'll have to obviously make a scratch if he can't hit.
Okay, what else? Other questions?
One more from me on Anderson. What were the conversations like with you and him after the series that he had?
Tejeda?
Yeah.
After yesterday?
Yeah.
No, he was pumped. I mean, this kid doesn't seem to be bothered by much. When I told him he actually was on the team because he was on our taxi squad, I called him in the office and told him, "Hey man, you're on the team." He's like, "Okay." Like, now what? Like, so I told him he was playing. He was obviously really excited about playing, but it was still kind of like, it's like, "Hey man, are you gonna, remember that you only get one first game, one first pitch of your career. Like, don't be afraid to let it eat. Basically regardless of the situation." He goes, "Oh yeah, no, I get it." And so he went in, he goes and swings at the first 5 pitches he saw, what I mean? And obviously had some success. He's got to obviously not swing at every pitch he sees, but, it's cool to just see the live body, live bat, like energy, excitement. I thought we needed that. And unfortunately it didn't lead to a win, but, it obviously did provide a lot of a spark to our ball club because they were like, it kind of woke a lot of guys up after his first swing. Everybody's like, nobody had really hit one hard until then. He just missed that ball, the first one. So it kind of just made everybody go, oh, okay, like we got to get going. This guy can be hit, and brought a lot of energy, which was what we wanted.
Okay, next question, Levi.
The daily check-in on Montero. Do you have any further update on the timeline for him?
He's active today. We're activating him today. Yeah.
I told him. Awesome. Okay.
So yeah, he should be penciled in there 8th or 9th. Get him right in there. Get him right in there.
Don, has that announcement been made? Do we know what the fourth?
No, we haven't made a roster move. Will come after BP probably.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right, what else? Back to Evan.
Woody, when you talk about process stats and the process things that you want to see, on the offensive side, to me, the thing that I would look at is exit velocity, average exit velocity. That seems to be an indicator of who's hitting the ball hard.
Yep.
Would you agree, disagree with that?
No, I'd agree. That's definitely one of them. That's definitely part of it. Obviously strike zone recognition. We weren't very good, I thought, the first little while. I felt like we were kind of getting out of our approach a little bit. And part of that was, like you were, saying earlier, I think that was, we were trying to create success where they weren't giving it to us. But yeah, absolutely. Who hits the ball the hardest, the most consistent? When you swing at strikes and don't chase out of the strike zone and you hit the ball hard, it's a pretty good recipe for success. And then you can obviously look at the launch angle and say, okay, if this guy's pounding balls in the ground, there must be a swing mechanic thing that we can get the ball at least elevated a little bit. You don't have to hit, 30 degrees, but, you factor those 3 things in. If you're doing that consistently, you're going to hit. And you're going to hit for power. You're going to drive the baseball.
And last thing for me on that note, when I look at, like, Willie's not had success, but he is hitting the ball hard.
Mm-hmm.
Odor hasn't had success, but he's not hitting the ball hard. Where do you stand on the process stat for Odor? I know he's been out for a while, but where is he right now in terms of the process?
Yeah, he's got to be better. Obviously you're going to have some, peaks and valleys as a hitter. What we saw in spring training, what we saw in camp, those stats were good with Rugi. Obviously to start the season, like I said, after the first game, it was good. He obviously drove in the only run. I think after game 2 or 3, I think maybe frustration started setting in with Rugi. He got out of his approach a little bit, started chasing some balls that he hadn't. So yeah, he needs to maintain, the consistency. And he maybe for the last however many games he hasn't been as consistent. So he needs to get back on that for sure.
Do you have any hesitation at all in going with Montero there? Obviously it was not a soft landing that you talked about the other day.
Definitely not a soft landing. No, I think if we had it our way, we probably would have activated him in Oakland. He was ready by then, so he was able to still throw, and he felt fine leading up to this. So everything that all the reports I got were what we saw out there. He was 95, 96. Good life. Arm felt great. Command was good. So listen, I was like, we told him before the game, you're going to be thrown right into the fire. If it's a close game, you're going to be pitching the ninth probably, and that's what happened.
What kind of boost does that give your team to have Montero do that?
Yeah, that was really cool to see. A lot of what we saw last year, the command, the ability to throw pitches when he needed to, and the sinker that he threw to Trout was something pretty new. He'd been working on it, and during the off time and in camp. I mean, he's got a pretty good repertoire of pitches right now, and with good command.
Okay, Emily?
Sorry, I'm late to the party. Did you talk about Izzy at all?
No.
Start?
No, we just started. You're good.
Okay. He just seems like, spring training, summer camp, it just hasn't stopped. It's just been so consistent. Where does his development come from, like, for the most part? What can you attribute that to?
I think it's a lot of things, and it's honestly there's a lot of people. Obviously, the credit goes to Kiner for buying in, to a lot of different things. His bat to ball is elite, and we've always known that. He put the work in. He put the work in that we asked him to put in, with his body, with his mechanics. He tweaked a few things to kind of just get a better path to the ball. But his, aggressiveness, his ability to square up a baseball, along with some, a little bit more behind it now, you can see he hits balls hard every time he hits them. Even when he just misses a ball, he hits them hard. So I still think there's a little more in the tank, to be honest with you. I think he's just starting to get comfortable, and we've had conversations the last week. Just what I was seeing was a little bit of trying to be careful at times. And I said, listen, you've earned this, man. Let it fly. Like, just let it rip. And you're seeing that now. Like, that's why balls are, obviously getting past guys. Guys are having a hard time catching his ball because it's coming off hot. So we're proud of the kid, but, he's just got to keep on going, man. Don't take a day for granted, and keep his foot on the gas every day.
Unmute yourself, Emily.
What do you talked coming into this game about how this was a pivotal time for you guys, and you had to, take advantage of breaks and make your own breaks, and as strange as that was, the fourth inning that was a little wheels off.
Yeah.
Are those the kind of things you're talking about? You have to take advantage of those, and how big was it that you took this pivotal moment and pivoted in the right direction?
Yeah, there was a few moments early in the game where I wasn't sure when we slid off the bag twice. We had some things not go our way, and then clearly we put pressure on their guy. We didn't get a ton of hits, but we put a lot of pressure on their pitcher. We walked a bunch of guys. We made them throw the ball to the plate. We had the bases loaded, and anytime you do that, Canning's a good pitcher, but he obviously made a few mistakes. They tried to pick a guy off, gave us a few freebies, but a lot of it had to do with the resiliency of the at bats. Like Solak taking a 1-2 pitch, getting hit by it, and that ended up winning the game. So that's how I figured we'd win when we won again, and hopefully tomorrow we can just kind of bust it open and maybe get the series.
Okay, what else we got? Levi.
Just the talk figured we would win. Talking about the way that you guys won this game, how important was it to have a game after the bullpen has struggled so mightily in the last week? To have a game where the bullpen held a lead. Yeah, and there was some really key moments. Obviously with Jabot. I thought Brett obviously did a great job for us, pitching back to back for the first time. That's not easy. Obviously the first two outings he goes back to back. What Jabot could have fallen apart, honestly. Ended up getting the big strikeout on Ohtani, handed it off to Jonathan. First two batter, he didn't look too good, in that seventh inning, but comes back, makes a pitch 3-2. That game could have changed right there. He ended up getting LaStella out, and then comes back out and, strikes out the side. So, I mean, it's there's a lot of key moments for a lot of our younger guys to get through, and hopefully we can build off of that for the next time.
Other questions? Kevin?
Yeah, so what was your thinking on the seventh inning there? Trout was going to come up in the seventh inning, but you went Jabot there instead of Hernandez, and to me that was the highest leverage situation at that point.
He's not a great matchup for Trout's, with Jonathan's sinker. It's not the best, and I know Jonathan has power stuff. I think I would have gone to him if it wasn't the seventh. We've been kind of abusing Jonathan, and he's had great outings. Don't get me wrong. I didn't want to go 1+ with him. Obviously, it worked out that way, but I kind of wanted to. Jabot's got the power and the stuff to get Mike Trout out, and I know Mike Trout's a great player. Not too many guys can overpower Mike Trout, but Jabot, I felt like the way he had been throwing the ball, if he attacks him, is actually a better matchup. Yeah, it was definitely something I thought a lot about before I decided to go that way. I just didn't want to abuse Jonathan tonight.
Okay, Jordan's ready unless we got one more question for Woody. Jeff?
You mentioned those reversals at second base, but that's also part of, you're not going to stop running. I mean, that's part of putting pressure on, is it not?
Absolutely, and it's easy. A lot of teams I've been on in the past, either as a player or as a coach, a couple guys get thrown out or things don't go right. It's like, hey, put the brakes on. Those were just unfortunate. We beat both of those plays. We got good jumps. We just, the base was slippery. The guys were sliding off of it a little bit. No, I'm definitely not going to stop putting the pressure on. I just don't believe in that. I think it's silly sometimes when, we're reacting to what's going on instead of saying, hey, let's just keep doing what our game plan says. And that's, they're going to give us times to run on, we're going to run.